City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Trade Central.
Kia ora, Rotorua ahead in tonight's bulletin. Rotorua Lakes Councillor Glenys Sarank says she'd like to see a more visible art scene in Rotorua. Bay of Plenty regional councillors are available next week to discuss the proposed 10-year plan with locals. And Waikato join Rotoiti and Whakarewarewa in the Premier Division of this year's Baywide Rugby competition. Rotorua Lakes Council Creative Communities Portfolio Lead, Councillor Glenys Sarank, says she wants to see a more visible art scene in Rotorua and is calling on locals to get together and share ideas on how this can happen. Mrs Sarank says a gathering coined Boil Up is being held next month and she wants people from our creative community to attend.
I'd like to see more sort of visible arts in the community so that people, both locals, it's important we think of the locals, and visitors have a real art experience when they're in Rotorua. So it would broaden our cultural base, and I just think we can do it. We've got some empty shops in town, we can exhibit artists' work. There's all sorts of ideas that even I've got, and people that will come to this Boil Up will, I'm sure, have a lot more than I do too.
Boil Up is being held on the 14th of March. To register, visit the Eventbrite website or call council. The public are invited to attend a Bay of Plenty Regional Council drop-in session with local councillors next Thursday. The session provides an opportunity to have your say on Bay of Plenty Regional Council's plans for the next 10 years. The Council's long-term plan sets out key challenges for the Bay of Plenty and how they will be tackled. Okere Regional Councillor Arapeta Tahana says it's a chance to give residents the opportunity to discuss the plan's big issues in an informal setting. Mr Tahana says he will be available to talk with any residents about the Council's plans on Thursday, March the 5th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Regional Council offices in Arawa Street. There's also a session for Te Arawa members the same day between 4 and 6 p.m. at Te Arawa Lakes Trust in Haupapa Street. A copy of the consultation document Thriving Together is available from libraries, any regional council office and online at boprc.govt.nz. Anyone can make a submission online or by post before 4 p.m. on March the 20th. Students at Waiariki Institute of Technology have kicked off the academic year with events celebrating O Week. The theme this year is Game On 15. Reporter Kitty Danielle went along to yesterday's Twisting Tuesday event hosted by the Student Council and WITSA.
Tell me a little bit about why O Week is so cool this year.
I love the fact that the students get to interact with like normal people, everybody. So the teachers all come down, the students all mingle, and all the different nationalities come together and just have fun.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And there's some music playing, there's some people with some stalls set up, bit of a twister, bouncy float there.
Yeah. It's all about just getting to know each other. It's a welcome to Waiariki celebration. So it's more or less saying, welcome to Waiariki. Let's have fun and celebrate.
So how many years have you been studying here now?
So this is my third year this year. I've enjoyed it so far. It's like I've joined a big whānau. It's really welcoming and the tutors are really supportive. Yeah.
In sport tonight, Waikato have been admitted to the Baywide Premier Rugby competition this year, increasing the number of Rotorua teams competing to 3. Only 2 Rotorua clubs competed in the Premier Division last year, Whakarewarewa and Rotoiti. The addition of Waikato to the competition came after discussions between the Bay of Plenty Rugby Union and the sub-unions. Eastern Bay Sub-Union also gets an extra spot in the competition. The shake-up means Whaka, Waikato and Rotoiti will compete in the Premier grade, with Nongataha, Maris, Kahukura and Rotorua will compete in the First Division. The Premier grade and First Division are now 12-team competitions for 2015. To your weather now. Tonight, fine spells with the odd shower, light winds and an overnight low of 12. Tomorrow Thursday, Fine spells with afternoon showers, light winds, a high of 23 and a low of 14. And the outlook for Friday, fine spells, afternoon showers, light winds, a high of 23 and a low of 12. The marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, variable 5 knots becoming southeast to 10 knots in the morning and then turning northeast to 10 knots in the afternoon, with waves less than half a metre, and there'll be fair visibility in the odd afternoon shower, which could possibly become heavy. Remember, for program listings and other info, or to catch up on city news, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. Still to come in tonight's show, we meet this month's neighbour in our community, Raj Kumar. We catch up with Eyesight Manager Graham Brownrigg, and we find out about the Association of Administrative Professionals.
City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Trade Central.
Welcome to the beautiful home of Raj Kumar. Who is he? Well, he's a neighbour in our community who will be speaking next week. Raj, I would say welcome to New Zealand, but that's probably long overdue. You've been here since 1999, haven't you?
No, actually been in New Zealand since 1989, so I've probably been in New Zealand for about 26 years. But I've been in Rotorua since 1999. We came in July on a cold but balmy morning, and it was raining slightly as well. I'll never forget that day, the day we settled down in Rotorua. We came to Rotorua because we were looking for a business, and we were looking for a business within our budget as well. We were a young family. I have a very beautiful wife, a wonderful wife, and a brother-in-law that had come from England to live with us, and he was going to work with me in the business. So we found a business in Rotorua that suited our budget, that suited the way we thought we could run it. We didn't want something that was going to be too much difficult for us to handle. When we came to Rotorua that day, we were really glad that we made the decision. Rotorua has been really wonderful to us. Springfield, the suburbs, been really wonderful for us. People were very friendly. We found at first that because we went to a shop that was never owned by an Indian or a Pākehā, there were some issues communicating. We speak fluently, we understand, but sometimes it's understanding the culture, and we made some decisions based on the experiences of our work before elsewhere. We've been involved in the grocery industry since I was a toddler in Fiji, so it wasn't too difficult to know that side, to understand the products. The hardest thing to understand sometimes is the human behavior, and once you start to connect with people, and you start to make them feel that you are part of the community, people are more subservient to you. And so that's what we found. And then we found that happy medium as we were trading, that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you treat people with respect, they will respect you back.
Very, very nice. Now, let's go back 20 years, and you would have moved to New Zealand at a time where we didn't have a lot of international migrants coming to New Zealand. So how did you find it?
Well, we moved to a family place in Green Bay, Auckland, and Green Bay was really quite a backdrop that time, and the family was it was the Ngāti family that embraced us, and we were very fortunate that they looked after us. They kind of nurtured us into what the New Zealand lifestyle was, and we learned to understand, because they had been here for lots of years, the transition into coming into New Zealand and understanding the values and the cultures was made easier. they showed us things that otherwise we would have struggled with. I think a lot of the ignorant factors were monitored and ironed out. And also when we were in Auckland in those days, the Indian community was far and few less. The numbers weren't so much, so finding things were different, like the vegetables that we were used to, the products that we were used to, the daily living of the stuff that we were kind of accustomed to, and the language. We grew up in Fiji. Talking Hindi was just, it came naturally to us, and every person you spoke was in your mother tongue. And then over here we were having to speak English. Fortunately for most of us that came from Fiji, English is taught as the number one language in schools.
So you are talking to neighbours in our community on the 27th, which is next Friday. And I'm just wondering, what is it that you're going to share?
I'm going to share that my lifestyle in New Zealand was a good choice. I'm thankful for New Zealand to have embraced us, for my kids to have grown up in a community that has fostered them with good values. We teach them what we can, but ultimately they learn more when they go out with their friends, when they go out with their mates,
Very nice.
So I'm really thankful. I'm pleased to be in New Zealand.
Well, thank you so very much for having TV Rotorua and City News stop over and have a quick chat to our neighbours in our community, who you can go and view and go and see him give his speech about his lifestyle and about where he's come from Friday the 27th down at the Rotorua Arts Village. Welcome to the Rotorua Eyesight. Today I'm joined with Graham Brownwood, who is the Eyesight Manager. Graham, thank you so very much for having us joining us today.
It's fine, thanks for coming.
That's no worry. Look, Graham, what's the feel down here lately?
The feel is fantastic. Rotorua has done really well in the last couple of years, and this summer in particular has been very, very busy in Rotorua. We've had a number of days where accommodation has been totally booked. We've been sending people to stay in Taupo and in Tauranga, and then coming back the next day to visit Rotorua because we have been booked solid, which is fantastic for Rotorua. And that's what our industry needs now, the growth that's coming. So
absolutely, because we know that Rotorua is full of hotels and motels, and for there to be no space for anybody, that's fantastic news.
Well, it is fantastic for us, but unfortunately for our visitors that are coming in and trying to book accommodation at the last minute, it's a little bit disappointing. Yeah. But great for us. We're happy with it. Yeah.
We are. Okay, so I know that we have Eyesight Rotorua, but what's the feel throughout the country with Eyesight?
Yeah, well, the whole country, Eyesight New Zealand. Actually, yesterday I was just talking to them, and the feel is really positive, and the growth that is coming to New Zealand, both internationally and from the domestic visitor as well, or the domestic tourist, is going to grow each year on year. So Rotorua being Rotorua, we're going to get it, and we're going to do better. So
that's fantastic news. Because of the strength of our dollar at the moment, you wouldn't imagine that people would be flocking here, would you?
No, well, you wouldn't think that, but they're coming from all walks. We get a lot of Germans, and China is also increasing in the visitors, and then we've got the Australians and the US as well as strong supporters of the Eyesight.
So what can we contribute this to? Is it the events that we're happening to bring to our shore and to our door here at Rotorua?
Well, yeah, Rotorua, we've got so many events happening. That's the real benefit for us because of our natural resource. Our parks and our forests, and we've got the Bike Fest on now. It's happening right now, and accommodations at a premium as well with that. We've got Crankworks, which is at the end of March. Accommodation is just about getting booked solid for that as well. That's going to bring thousands and thousands of people to Rotorua alone. Then you have all the other events that are happening. We had the Warriors here last weekend. We've got the Chiefs coming up. Those sort of things just add the mix into the mix and just bring more people to Rotorua.
Now, I've heard some very wonderful news, a new partnership between Eyesight and the Rotorua Airport. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we're really excited, and we bid for the advertising contract. The current advertiser out there, Interspace, who do a lot of airport advertising, we felt we could do something better for the Rotorua region and really focused and assist, as you said, with the events that are coming in. We want to showcase that. There's 400,000 people come through that airport every year. We need to tell them what's happening in Rotorua and what they can do, and that in conjunction with the million people that come through here. We also have the Redwoods Visitor Centre. We run that, and the City Focus. So we have a combined audience of about 1.6 to 1.8 million people that we can give a consistent message across. And the advertising will just open up another avenue for our local tourist operators and business in general, like retailers and dining, to be able to advertise out there. So.
What have we got forward to this year?
Oh, we've got so much going for us. As I said earlier, with the events that are coming up, also just the influx, the cruise season at the moment, that's still going, and that's bringing a lot of people into town. I think today even we've got buses lining up out the front that have got the cruise passengers on them. So we've got all those things happening, and just the influx really of the tourists that are coming. The domestic tourism program that our Rotorua Tourism Marketing Department are working on with the famously Rotorua. That's bringing a lot more Auckland people down to Rotorua.
So just some advice for our locals then, Graham, because it is going to be busy and it's going to increase in the amount of people coming to and from Rotorua. Some advice for our locals who may want to travel just so that it's a little bit easier for them.
Well, the advice I give locals don't recognise eyesights as a place to go. They think it's a tourist office, but essentially we are here for the locals, and we suggest, as we do with people that come in here just for information, you need to book so you're not disappointed. That also applies to the Rotorua locals. They need to come in here and book their onward trip. We can do the whole trip for them, their itinerary planning for the whole of New Zealand. And as well as that, when they have friends and family staying, they need to bring them here so we can give them the best options that are available. Everyone knows a few of the basics around Rotorua, but we know everything. And we're the professionals at information, so bring them on in.
Thank you very much for your time. So there you have it, Rotorua. If you're planning to travel, come down and book, because it's going to be busy and we care about you, so come down. Rotorua, do you consider yourself an administration professional? Well, with me I have two very lovely ladies. We have Mary and also Trish, whom is the president of an association here in Rotorua and past president of an association here in Rotorua. Trish, can you please tell us, as the past president, what is the name of this association?
The Association of Administrative Professionals New Zealand.
Wonderful. Mary, how was the association started?
In 1972, it was started as a national organisation, and then in 1992, Rotorua started up a local AAPNZ. But back in those days, it was actually called Secretaries Society, and I guess that sort of promoted what secretaries were about in those days, whereas we've moved well and truly on from those days. And then Administrative Professionals New Zealand was the society was rebranded to AAPNZ in 2000.
Now, can you please tell me, what is it that they do? What is it you do?
Well, I'm the local president here in Rotorua, and also sponsorship and marketing. What we do is we meet twice a month, and we're primarily a networking association for administrators and middle management around Rotorua.
How big is your club currently?
Currently we've got 10 active members. We have got others that come along to our social gatherings, but we are really looking at increasing our numbers.
And so who are the members?
Currently we have members actually quite a sort of a range of backgrounds actually. We've got an HR manager, we've got banking, we've got administrator who does some contracting, we've got people working at the DHB, we've got one lady who's actually an online tutor for a Polytech. We've got, so there's loads and loads of backgrounds, and it's such a vast field that really anybody working in the field is it's ideal.
So how big is it, Trish, throughout New Zealand?
There's 11 groups in New Zealand, and those groups can be quite big. So the likes of Auckland have something along the lines of 40 members. So I think membership is around 400 at the moment.
Wow, so it is pretty good. And how did you get into it?
I started a business in administration, so I thought it would be the ideal place for me to be to promote my business and also for my professional development, and there's no looking back from there. Yeah.
So let's really educate the public, if you will, about what it is that you do, because there are some pretty special things, isn't there?
Okay. Yeah, we do. We offer quite a lot, actually. Initially, I think the big thing, well, especially for me, was the networking. And also getting together with like-minded people. I mean, we work in quite a fast industry, changing technologically, over that, over the last few years hugely. So it's actually getting along with other like-minded people. We offer a lot of support nationally as far as education as well as locally. We've got a couple of events coming up, which we'll talk about, and it's a really good networking environment. I can't say that more. That really, I think everybody that is a member would really say that was probably the number one.
Absolutely. And what events have you got coming up?
Coming up on the 7th of March, we've organised what they call a Northern Regional Gathering. So we're opening that up to the public as well, to the business sector, because it's great training for managers and administrators, and that's along the lines of building your business as well as working more efficiently.
Okay. And you've got quite a special thing as well, a scholarship, I hear, for education.
I have, actually. I was really surprised last year at our AP Day, which is Administrative Professionals Day that we have annually. I was very surprised and won the Doreen Smart Scholarship, which entitles me to $1,000 worth of study. So this year I am starting finishing off my human resource management degree, so that will tap on to my diploma that I already have. So that's given me the real incentive that I need to start my study again.
And so apart from, obviously, that's one major benefit of being a part of the association, what are some of the other benefits for you personally?
For me personally, it's been a real growth thing. It's a leadership. Being the president, I've learnt some amazing leadership skills. I've learned to work with other like-minded people, and actually what I find fun is actually honing in on everybody's different skills and different backgrounds, and especially when we have events, it's amazing what knowledge is out there and support that's actually even within our little group of 10 people, just how supportive we are amongst each other.
So for any of our local members that may want to become a part of the association, who do they contact?
I think initially if they flick me an email at rotorua@aapnz.org.nz, or they could ring me at 0274 30 and I'm more than happy to talk through what we're all about and meet with them.
Thank you very much. There you have it, Rotorua. If you didn't quite get that, just make sure you Google them online.
That was Mary Erickson and Trish Dunn talking with Melanie Groves. For more information or to contact the show, email news@tbrotorua.co.nz or phone us on 07 3488 984. Thanks for joining us tonight. From all the team at City News, ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News on TV Rotorua was proudly brought to you by Trade Central.